one of the more popular videos we've done is the loadout video, and it's always amazing to me the number of people that are just totally obsessed with their loadout. Where airsoft, there's a lot of different facets to this sport. A lot of people get into it just for the action, for actually getting in there and playing a tactical game against somebody, and then there's other people that are just completely on the other side of it, where it's just playing make-believe, you know, and what you get to wear is almost more important than actually playing the game. And I'm sure you've seen the guys that have come down that they just come down and chill the whole time, and they don't even frickin' get in the arena and actually shoot at anybody. Which, if that's what you're into, if that's why you're in the sport, you're more than welcome to come down here. But for you guys that are into all the accoutrements and stuff, we thought we'd give you a few more non-standard loadouts. There's so many guys that are out there that are just wearing the multicam with the JPC, and I'm sure you've seen a million of those. So we thought we'd take a look at something completely different. So Alex has got his loadout, which I thought is one of the more unique ones that I've seen here at the arena. So tell us a little bit about it.
Well, this is a Russian-inspired kit, or RUSFOR as it's kind of known. You see a lot of guys playing them at MILSIM events where they'll have NATO versus RUSFOR. And so this particular loadout is not an impression of any particular unit, Alpha Group, MVD, anything like that. It's just a bunch of Russian gear I threw together because I thought it looked cool. So hey, that's how I went about it. The Russian equipment is getting more popular. I think a lot more people are seeing that it's something different yet still relatively practical for airsoft, so we're seeing more and more of it. So I decided to jump on the bandwagon before it got too crowded, and I think one of the only people here at the arena with a kit.
Right. Well, it's so rare to see this. It's not like somebody's going to come in here and start criticizing you because you don't have a specific you know, unit or you know, I'm sure that'll happen sooner or later because there's always some knucklehead. But for those of you that are not familiar with it, tell us a little more about the specifics of the loadout we got going on here.
I'm going to go from head to toe just because it'll be a little bit easier to talk with my helmet off. So first up, this is an Alton helmet replica. It's not the real deal, but it is a replica. I thought it was going to be made out of like plastic polymer with metal bits. Turns out it's all metal, so that's really cool. It does have the integrated blast shield, which is pretty cool, but I would not recommend using that for actual gameplay. It's not full seal, so when I'm out there playing in the arena, I like to wear a pair of Revision Desert Locust and a mesh mask just to cover all bases. Now I can take this off. This does have built-in Kenwood comms, so if I want to use comms, I can. Did
you order it that way, or did you set it up that way?
I ordered it that way, and I got it on the magical realm of eBay. So that's where I got a lot of this kit, was eBay. So if you can't find a retailer around you or in the States selling it, which there is one good retailer that I've seen in the States, Amped Airsoft up in Pennsylvania. Just kind of butchered that a little bit, but if you're looking for RUSFOR kit, they've got a lot of it, and they got a pretty good selection.
And that's the thing about most of the stuff that you got on. It's not like you can go to Evike or Airsoft Mega Store and get some of this stuff. So if you're interested in this, you're going to have to do a little bit of research. You could also look us up. I'm sure we'll be glad to put some stuff in the links in the description below the video. So if you want to find some of this stuff, we'll give you some hints on where to go and look for it.
And like I said, it is getting more popular, so hopefully bigger retailers will start selling more and more. So moving down, I guess I'll start with I get the gloves because they're right here. These are just ASG Strike System, I believe. Yeah, they're cheap and they work. They're not really like a Russian specific style or anything, but they offer really good protection. And if you've played in CQB, you know getting shot in the hands really sucks. So definitely a good investment. Going on to the whole chest area. The uniform I'm wearing is known as Gorka. I believe this is Gorka 4. It's kind of like a winter suit. It's got kind of like the ripstop design to it. And yes, the sleeves are purposely a little short. It's a really nice suit, but it does get a little hot in the summer and spring and everything. So definitely a good winter.
Is it rain resistant?
I believe so. I've spilled water on it already and it kind of just rolls off, beads off. So this suit's pretty nice. Again, I got it off of eBay. Got it for like 80 bucks, which isn't too bad with the pants and the shirt. So
now you've gotten in and actually played in this rig. Does it breathe pretty good? Or
surprisingly, yes, it does breathe relatively well. I mean, you are wearing a winter suit, but when I've gone out there and played, it is a little bit colder out now, so it's not too bad. I'm sure in the summer it's going to be a little brutal, but for now, this is all right. underneath of this, you can't really see it, but I'm wearing a telnishka. I'm probably butchering that pronunciation, but it's the striped shirts the Russian military wears. You can get them really cheap. I figured I might as well just kind of complete the immersion. The different colors mean different branches or organizations. I went with dark blue, which is Navy.
Right.
So normally I wear a balaclava, black or green or whatever color I want to wear. But today I just have my neck gaiter on, which is like a little, it's almost like a shemagh, but you can bring it up over your mouth really quickly and it covers you up. It's good for when it's really cold out, and it does offer a little bit of protection. Again, I would wear a mesh mask for the ultimate protection, but it's better than nothing, I suppose. It does protect your neck pretty well.
Well, if you're outdoors and people are shooting at longer ranges, you could obviously get away with that. For indoors, where most of your shots are at close range, I wouldn't take the chance.
Right, agreed. So, moving down, underneath, this is a Fort Defender. This is a pretty standard piece of armor. Inside of it are just medium-sized plates. They're fake. I don't buy the real stuff because I don't need the real stuff. It's not really what you're supposed to put in these, but I figured it's all I had, and it works fine, so might as well. Star Wars patch because I'm always going to be a nerd. And the Fort Defender doesn't actually have anywhere you can put mag pouches or anything like that. The Defender 2 does have kind of like a molly system on it, but the Defender 1 does not. So over top of that, I'm wearing the Smirch vest. This is a pretty, I guess you could say, a high-speed, low-drag kind of get-up. What's nice about it is everything's situated on the sides and on the back. So if I need to go prone, it's very accessible. It's really nice where if I go to play field, I don't need to wear the armor underneath. Playing in here, I like to because it just protects me a little bit more. But out at field, I don't have to. It's got 4 magazine pouches on it, built for AK mags. They hold 2 each, so that's 8 mags. 2 frag pouches, which I use for my cyclone grenade, and then a butt pack on the back, which just, dump pouch, miscellaneous accessories, so on and so forth. And then I guess really to finish it off would be my knee pads. They're just Ulta knee pads that I bought at Airsoft Atlanta. They don't slip, but they feel like they want to slip. It's a weird dynamic. They haven't slipped on me yet, but they feel like they're going to.
I'm always pulling mine up off of my shins, so that's just part of wearing knee pads, I guess.
I don't run a sidearm with this kit just because I don't have a holster for it, and truth be told, I don't really use my sidearm all that much. It's useful to have, so if I do want to run it, I have a FNX 45. Not Russian in the slightest, but I put a lot of work into this pistol, so I figured might as well use it. So to top off the kit is the gun. This is a SEMA AK-74U with a couple little goodies on it. G&G tracer unit, T1 replica, and of course the scope mount. SEMA makes a pretty good AK for the price. I haven't had any issues with mine, and a lot of the ones we sell are pretty rugged.
We've been selling them for 5 years, and honest to goodness, I have not had one come back yet for repair. I know it's just a matter of time before something goes dead on these things, but oddly enough, I have yet to have one come back. And the people that have bought them are pretty happy with them. They're great for this environment, for a close quarter battle with the shorter barrel. If you're playing outdoors, you might not have as good a luck with it, but for a CQB environment, the short barrel is a great feature.
Oh yeah, definitely. And just a little bit of word of warning, I guess. The trace unit, though it is great, had to cut down the inner barrel a little bit to get it to fit and function properly. So if you do plan on doing this exact setup, just keep that in mind. You may need to trim or replace the inner barrel. But it's entirely worth it because tracer units are very nice. We always say it, once you start using them, at least indoor, you really don't want to go back.
There's so many positive features to this. Number one, you get to see where your shots go, so you're not looking down a scope all the time. You're just sort of walking your shots into your target. It's also harder for your competitors to cheat on you because when they can see the rounds bouncing off of them, it's awfully hard to say, oh, I wasn't aware that I was getting shot at that moment. So it fixes a lot of those problems, and it's just so cool to actually see the ricochets, and it just looks so much more realistic. And you can get different color tracers for these things. So if you wanted to be realistic for the Russian, you'd be shooting green tracers, I suppose, because
that's what I use.
The green phosphorus, which are the easier ones to find. I think the red tracers are a little bit harder to come by. So for this specific loadout, the green tracers are exactly what you're looking for. What do you got as far as an optic on this particular one?
Just a T1 replica. I don't really run any real optics, like real EOTechs and stuff. So I just stuck with the repo. I don't really know the brand. I think it's like a Bravo. I just bought it off of a guy. And it's really nice because when you shoulder the weapon or the replica, you don't really have to pivot your head too much. You can just look right down the sight. It's very minimalist, so it's not going to be blocking your peripherals or anything like that. And it doesn't hurt that it's sitting on top of the scope mount, which, funny story about the scope mount, it was meant for a 47, so we had to trim it a little bit. So make sure you buy the right scope mount.
Or if you got a metal cutting saw, you could do what we did on it. Now, I noticed you don't have a protector on there.
When I play, I normally have a protector.
Oh, you do? Okay.
I do. Just I don't have it on for this video. If you're playing indoors, especially here, we see it all the time where optics get shot out. So highly recommend some sort of $10 investment to protect your optic.
I try to warn people on a regular basis when they purchase scopes here in an indoor situation. It's absolutely necessary. You take one hit to a scope like that and it's going to blow it clean out. And I feel bad for guys that don't want to spend that extra $10 because it's almost inevitable that they come back in with a blown out scope. And we've actually got a couple of guys that play with the scopes that are blown clean out and they're just using the shell of it just for looks because they're tired of replacing the optics or the glass on them. So that's up to you, but if you're making the investment on a good optic, just do yourself a favor and get a good scope protector for it as well.
Yeah, can't say it's true to the Russian theme, I guess, but it works. And
I'm sure that's something somebody will give us some crap about because it doesn't have an actual Russian site on there, but we'll work on that in the future. So that's pretty much it, isn't it? That's big investment, I'll say. You know. What do you think you got tied up just into the outfit? Forget the gun.
Forgetting the gun. All right, I am forgetting the gun. In terms of the outfit, probably close to $350 or so. That's a very loose estimate. Just trying to think of all the bits and pieces. The Smirch is a repo off of Amped Airsoft. They go for about $130, $140 on their site, which isn't too bad. You can find real ones and other repos on eBay for roughly the same price. The Defender I got for $80. The Gorkas I got for about $70 to $90, somewhere in there. I can't remember. And then the helmet I got for $150. So I'm probably at or a little bit above or below $350. So it's a big investment, but considering how much money you might put into a NATO kit, if you want to do something a little different, it's not too bad.
No, this is all domestically available. You didn't have to send out to Russia to get it.
I did not have to order anything from Russia or outside the United States for that matter. You can. There are shops where you can do that. And I haven't heard of gear getting seized by customs. I know guns, when you buy them overseas, sometimes can get seized, but gear, really haven't heard of any horror stories with that. Either way, I just tried to avoid all that, and that's why I stuck with eBay, Amped Airsoft, and just anywhere I could find someone selling any Russian gear.
Most on the West Coast, the folks that you were ordering from, or?
Surprisingly not. No? East Coast and a little bit in the Midwest area.
Cool.
I think the guy I bought the helmet from was on the West Coast, but that was about it.
That always is a factor with your shipping times and how long you want to wait to get something. Here with the store that we have, we're on the East Coast, so a lot of the times it's up to a 7 to 10 day wait to get stuff shipped to you, which that's the one thing I feel a little bit envious of the guys that are on the West Coast because they can get stuff like that when they order it. We always seem to have a bit of a lag in getting, especially you did it during the holidays, so it was added extra ship times to that as well, I'm sure. So what do you think? Would you recommend this to somebody that's thinking about going this way?
If you want to do something unique, like my whole thing is when it comes to airsoft, like you said, it's make-believe. We're basically LARPing, live-action role-playing to a degree, and we're out there to have fun. And I like my NATO kit. I have a whole thing built up for all that, and it is really nice. It's nice to use, but I don't know. I wanted to do something different, and this is different. So if you're like me and you want to do something different, but you still want to look really cool, this is certainly the way to go. Like I said, the gear is getting more popular, so it's a little bit easier to find. Airsoft AKs are always going to be on the market, whether you're into gas, electric, spring, HPA.
Right.
So it's pretty accessible, and yeah, I don't know. I really like it, so join the bandwagon.
Cool. So if you want to find out more about this stuff, you can come on down to the arena. Alex is usually down here
all the time.
Just about every day. So if you want to find out more about his particular loadout, I'm sure he'll go on and on about it if you have any questions. And stay tuned because we're going to have more of these kind of loadout videos coming up real soon. So stay tuned and don't let the bastards get you down.